Hear ye, hear ye. Soccer Dave's internet is as frozen as the tundra across the United States. We got negative 11 degrees expected. We have the lowest total in an NFL game in the recorded database this weekend. We have a veritable Michigan, Western Kentucky style 31.5 team total. We got a full slate of games on Christmas Eve. Our wives cannot wait to watch Bills Bears at negative 11 degrees. We got games on Thursday. We got games on Sunday. The NFL is taking over our lives, but at least Derrick Henry remains a constant against the Houston Texans. It is the Week 16 Swolecast. Please don't dupe me, bro.
I'm begging you, don't dupe me, bro.
It's the poop narrative.
Mitch's been waiting to say those words.
No.
For 5 years. Well, guys, we're here. Soccer Dave tried his best. He went out to his garage, 2.5 minutes before the show started, was shocked that his internet connection wasn't working. Peter remains on paternity leave. Better Collective apparently giving great paternity leave these days. And we got none other than Mr. Rich Hribar, Lord Reeves from Sharp Football Analysis joining us today. And I mean, Rich, what a beautiful slate we have here to talk about. New Orleans, Cleveland, Houston, Tennessee. Just, I mean, the best and the brightest under the lights. You just love to see it.
What games don't have weather issues? Are there any of those on the slate that we can find?
Minnesota. It's a
Philadelphia, Dallas. They, that has the Gardner Minshew issue, but it is at least being played under the dome at Jerry World. So what can you do? Tuttle, we're looking great. We're matching. DraftKings sent us this, basically as an apology for not closing our accounts on their website all year. We got a nice little
spending so much time on their site.
Yeah, we got a nice little throw blanket and an ugly sweater. It's perfect.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit pre-show about all the swag they sent us for wasting money on their site and how our families actually enjoy it. So I won't complain. The sweatshirt's actually comfortable too. It's not like the it's a nice material. It's kind
not
of a soft
it's
material.
not that scratchy wool that you
Right.
get. You go to Goodwill to go get the ugly sweater, and it's always the worst material. And Reeves has got the Baby Yoda. I mean, we're very, very excited for a slate in which honestly it is actually kind of interesting that Philadelphia Dallas at least has a wrinkle in it, because had Jalen Hurts been active for that game, I mean, what are we talking about? Like 30% ownership on AJ Brown, like just, Gallup. You think you're going to be sharp playing Gallup. He gets to 17%. Noah Brown, Reeves. Noah Brown. We might see 11% own Noah Brown this weekend on DraftKings. I mean, it's really unbelievable.
Yeah, and the fact that Hurts didn't get injured in the game for us to have kind of an inkling that he might play, kept the pricing down everywhere. He's 4.8 on DraftKings. He's 6.1 on FanDuel. This is by far the best team Gardner Minshew's ever been around, and he's been functional on a really terrible Jaguars team. He started against Dallas last year in Week 18, and he had 14.5 fantasy points, and that's a game where they didn't have Arthur Juan. They didn't have Dallas Goedert. Miles Sanders didn't play. On the offensive line that game, the Eagles started LaRaven Clark and Andre Dillard at offensive tackle. Jack Anderson and Sua Opeta were the guards. It's a whole different environment for Gardner Minshew. And he's totally serviceable. But what's interesting is that, playing quarterbacks like Gardner Minshew haven't been profitable in DFS because they can't get those 30-point ceilings. But $5K.
I mean, how many quarterbacks do have the 30-point ceiling? It's four guys, right? It's Allen, Mahomes, Fields, and Burrow, probably. That's really about it. And it's not as if Like, I mean, my first inkling in the slate was like, oh, I'm just going to do this Mahomes thing again because he never gets his owned as he should be. But
you can't stack him.
Well, you can with Kelsey and McKinnon, apparently. Apparently, you just, and
Nicole Hardman coming back, 3,800.
Listen, we waited 10 years for this Jerick McKinnon renaissance, man. This has been 10 years in the making. I'm trying to pull up old articles from like the fakefootball.com that I wrote about Jerick McKinnon as a prospect. They don't exist anymore for some reason.
I bet if I Google Davis Mattek, Jerick McKinnon, I can find some old good stuff back when he was the
what was your site?
Sports Wonderkid. It doesn't. Yeah. So what's weird is I let the license, like I didn't renew that whatever one year, but someone else bought that website and did their own thing with it. Like it's its own entity now that I was not a part of at all. So it is right now it redirects to the Milpitas Recreation and Community Services Fall Municipal Guide, which you could just never say where the stuff comes from. So I guess the overview of the slate, since Peter is not here with us, is all the totals are really low, and that's going to lead to. I mean, honestly, the Vikings game being played indoors between the Giants and the Vikings, like we're going to get Darius Slayton chalk. It's like that's going to happen. Justin Jefferson, the highest projected guy of the slate. D. Hember, what a bummer for David to not be here because Derrick Henry gets this matchup against the Houston Texans. Malik Willis is going to start again the same way he did the last time these two teams played. The last two times the Titans and the Texans played, Malik Willis, what was it? He threw one pass in the second half that was a throwaway and like 9 passes in total, and it was just all Derrick Henry, another 200-yard game. And then, yeah, I mean, Philadelphia, Dallas. I mean, some of these team totals are like even the Bills are down to 24.5. The kind of a bummer that Tyler Lockett is not playing for the Seahawks. That you think that probably limits the ceiling a little bit there. I mean, Seattle, Kansas City should theoretically be a really good game, but I have a sense that it's not going to be, Reeves.
I mean, that's another one. It's supposed to be -5 on the field there. So, I mean, yeah, that's because, that's with no Lockett. I mean, you've got, DK Metcalf in this just kind of tremendous spot, right? And the Chiefs are just getting flooded by wide receivers. They've allowed the most points per game to opposing wide receiver 1 targets in the NFL. They're dead last in DVOA against, wide receiver 1s. We haven't really seen DK Metcalf play a lot with Tyler Lockett in his career. It's the first game he's going to miss since Metcalf's been on the team. But he does get like a bump. I mean, just this, he's run 144 pass routes in his career without Lockett on the field, and he's been targeted on 29% of those routes, and he's got 2.1 yards per route run. So there's definitely elevation here if we can just get some warmth, put in Missouri.
He's a grown ass man.
It's going to be the Derek Young breakout game still.
Yeah.
$4,300 Marquise Goodwin is going to get mega.
Yeah, see, that's the issue is there are actually a lot of cheap wide receivers that are playable this week on DraftKings. So there's really no reason to take a stab on wide receiver 3 for the Seahawks. But Derek Young was a bit of a preseason darling. He's a guy that's got some decent measurables as well. So it'll be fun to watch him play. He actually made a sick catch that got called back, I think, for a penalty last week.
Yeah.
But I'll keep my eye out on it. He might be my terrible take just because I'm a sucker for measurables, and I do think that game still has potential even with weather issues there.
Noah Fant too has had a huge boost with Lockett off the field this year. I mean, he's only run, Lockett hasn't missed time, but he's run 41 pass routes without Lockett on the field, and he's averaging 3.5 yards per route on those plays. Maybe
I've got Noah Fant alive in a DraftKings Millie semifinal. Ooh. We're now to the point of the best ball season where the individual players you have less because so many of your teams have died off. It's we're pretty close to Millie season there. So I guess let's go to quarterback on DraftKings. Josh Allen way up at 8,500, Mahomes 8,400, Fields 7,500. I've got to say I'm pretty intrigued by Fields here because I don't think it really particularly matters to his outcome, the temperature. Like it's like this dude is not throwing to these guys anyway. Although Byron Pringle did score a touchdown last week. yeah, I mean, I'm pretty intrigued by Fields at 7,500. And the Bills defense sneakily like not as good as they were projected to be preseason. Total, you got Fields on the radar. Are you editing LeBron James's projected ownership for NBA tonight?
Oh, we did get the Golden State news dump just now, but no. Yeah, I mean he wants the record too, right? He wants the Lamar Jackson record. So you got the I mean, not that it matters all that much, but he's got to get 201 yards or something like that over the last 3 games, and he said he's going for it. So yeah, I mean, I wish this game, and maybe it will turn out that way. Maybe we get into some positive temperatures in this game, because I do think it's pretty intriguing for both quarterback perspectives. Chicago's defense is definitely something Allen could pick apart in terms of throwing the ball. Gabe Davis continues to do nothing, but continues to lose me money because he's so cheap. He's always on. He's got that potential for a breakout game all the time. So yeah, I do like this game quite a bit, and in hoping that some of the temperatures get rise a little bit in the Midwest to make this game a little more playable.
Is Gabe Davis the biggest single season price faller at wide receiver? Because I think he got up to 6,800, and now he's down at 5,000. I mean, that is a giant, like, because normally DraftKings is once you have the spike week, you stay. You don't once you have a 30-point game, you don't drop too much in salary. I mean, I don't have high hopes.
Yeah,
for
69 is what he got up to. Yeah.
So I don't really have high hopes for that game's weather turning around. Although Reeves can give us a great soliloquy on the Bears defense. I mean, these dudes are basically, Reeves, they're like tackling dummies. Like, they have nobody left.
Yeah, I mean, they've getting absolutely flooded. They've had the most yards per play since week 6. They did get a couple guys back last week. I mean, it didn't help them against the Eagles, but like they at least put up a fight a little bit defensively, forced a couple turnovers. Ironically, this would be, if the weather holds up, this would be more of a bigger signal Gabe Davis game than it's been. I mean, I've been writing about this dude for like 7 weeks in a row that they've just been facing nothing but like man coverage teams. And he literally is one of the worst wide receivers against man coverage. He can't get open against anybody. But if you look at like his game log, it's not surprising when you see like his 2 best games like over the past 8 weeks have come against Minnesota and Cleveland, 2 teams that are just strictly zone-based defenses. And now we're getting a Bears team that just plays a lot of zone. So there might be a shot for Gabe Davis if we can get some non-wind here. I mean, I'm curious, are you guys just playing it as like just wait till Saturday anyways? Because we did this like last Saturday, right? Like everyone's tweeting at 11 o'clock, like, look at these pictures of Buffalo. Like, what are we going to do? They can't even play in this. And then like you get to the game and like Tua is just like hucking it, like, his 38 yards. I'm not on the sharp side of these things all that often. I'm more often to be the square side guy, but that was an all-time, like, you got to bet the over. You
can see that one coming.
Yeah.
There was enough towels, or were enough towels that you could see that coming.
Well, I actually did bet the over on that game, and I like actually felt like a mega mind. I like felt like the Galaxy Brain dude when I saw all those, because the total of Buffalo Miami when they played in week 3 was 54.5, and it was 43.5. I just thought there was no way that made any sense. I would say our good friend Chess Liam has been making this argument, which I think is really stupid for months now, which is that Josh Allen is like uniquely situated to smash in these bad weather games because he's so big and strong, and he's the only quarterback that can cut it around in the big win. I would say probably the thing that he's actually uniquely positioned to do here is the race for the 1 seed is so tight between the Bills, Bengals, and the Chiefs. None of these teams can afford to take their foot off the gas at all. Like, they can't just be like, oh, well, I get weird loss to the Bears. It was cold. Like, there's no room for that. And the value of the buy is so big that I think we should get 4 quarters of him, running around like a madman. But I mean, honestly, the really interesting thing is, like, do you actually play Gardner Minshew? He's one of the few guys in a good game environment. AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are super easy stacks with him. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz. Although Goddard is going to be back here, which makes me like Devonta maybe a smidge less. But I mean, 4,800 on this slate. You can get him in with Jefferson. You can get him in with Henry if you want. I'm inclined to maybe play him, actually, given all the weather concerns.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I mean, we talk about, you mentioned other quarterbacks like this failing this year. This is by far the best spot, right? Of one of these min-price quarterbacks. Like, I don't think it's been that close. We've had guys that like we jokingly say.
The Ellinger spot was really good, but he's just terrible.
Yeah, right. And we have a bigger sample on Minshew. Rich has the better read, I guess, on if they'll let him sling it or not than I would. But I mean, if there's no hesitation from a play calling standpoint, I would think he's a great play.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Dallas the past few weeks, they've had a little bit of cluster injuries in the back end that's really kind of opened things up. They lose Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown both for the season. And since that, they've allowed 4 touchdowns, 300 yards to Lawrence last week. Davis Mills threw for almost 9 yards per pass attempt against them the week before. They were just rotating quarterbacks, but they've lost a bunch of cornerbacks. Trayvon Diggs hasn't really played well the back half of the year. So like their pass defense is pretty suspect right now. And the Eagles are just a team from a top-down stance. I think that we all would agree. Like, we kind of believe in the infrastructure there. So, I mean, I definitely do. So, I believe that they're going to attack Dallas.
This is my concern. This game just does not matter for Philadelphia at all. So, as long as they win at least one game the rest of the way, they're the 1 seed. But there are actually even still paths for them to lose every game for the rest of the year and still get the 1 seed. That is a dangerous spot to be in if you are a Gardner Minshew backer, because they could just be like, dude, I'm not sending out Arthur Juan to, be put in the hospital by a bad Gardner Minshew pass or whatever. This could be the Boston Scott game. I would have.
There's still 3 weeks left, though. Like,
anytime I think it's too early to do that.
Every time we start having these conversations, like with this far to go, we never see teams start resting guys.
I did see a crazy one. So it's if the Jaguars win tomorrow, and it's something if the Titans game next week, there's a chance that the Week 17 Jaguars Texans game would be 100% meaningless, and it would be a Week 18 win and you're in. And someone was suggesting that Trevor Lawrence would rest the week before, and I was like, that's too much. It's way too, like, Trevor Lawrence is 23 years old, hasn't been in a playoff game. Like, they are not resting this dude, no chance. So I do think Kirk and Kirk, Hawkinson, Osborne, Thielen, Jefferson, these dudes would have been popular anyways coming off. What would Kirk have? 480 passing yards? And that would have been popular anyways. Going to be extra popular because of the fact that that's an indoor game. And then another layer of popularity on top of that, the Eagles being an underdog in this game actually makes it marginally 4 or 5%, whatever, more likely that the Vikings could get the 1 seed if they win out. So just more attention on them as a team or whatever. I think we're going to flip the cards on Saturday. You're going to be sitting around with your family and you're going to be like, Kirk Cousins is 18% owned. Like, it's going to be one of those things. I would say no chance I play Kirk. Like, no chance do I do that.
It's not a great spot for him. He's been awful against the blitz. Obviously, Giants #1 blitzing defense in the NFL. He's been terrible against man coverage defenses. Giants #1 man coverage defense. Obviously, if Justin Jefferson can lift the tides of all that, but it's not a great spot for Kirk Cousins, objectively.
And they're not going to be down 33-0 at halftime in this game. You would anticipate,
the Giants kind of slog you out. They've done this kind of to everybody that they faced. So I would not expect it to be a bonanza game for sure.
Although I mean the Giants
45 points might be a bonanza game.
I was going to say 45 is pretty high, and then was additionally going to say, do we think 22.5? Which is the Giants team total this week, do we think that's above or below their season median? It's got to be pretty close, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't. I guess I'm not going to go.
Dude, Saquon was looking good last week, though. Let me tell you that.
There was a little bit of an overreaction to him splitting work in the one game where he had the neck injury, but he seems fine now. Yeah. Kind of the reverse DeAndre Swift situation where we all read in to 1 week of Swift getting good volume and then he's back to being Justin Jacobs spellback. All right, let's build a DraftKings team, and Reeves, you can get the first pick since you're the guest.
What do we want to do? Do we want to do the 4,800 Minshew?
I mean, this is a choose your own adventure, and you are the captain.
And if you pick the quarterback, you pick the stacking partner too.
Yeah, you got to pick a stacking partner if you pick the quarterback.
So yeah, I mean, I think when we look at quarterback, we either go really cheap or we would play one of the guys that can run, where we would take a shot on like Fields or something. But yeah, let's do Minshew at 48, and then we'll do Arthur Juan.
Beautiful. Never going to complain about playing AJ Brown, who is less expensive than Chase Diggs and Jefferson. I'm interested how that ends up playing out. I wonder if we got to be looking at like 3% on Diggs in that outdoor game. That's pretty interesting. All right, Tuttle, you're next.
I talked about. I'm gonna go Saquon.
Okay.
Yeah, all those wide receivers, man, because the late game too. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be, but it's a pretty great spot for Devontae Adams too, and feels like everyone's kind of cooled on him.
Oh, big time. I mean, just like the narrative around the Raiders right now is just everyone laughing at them. So that's definitely a part of it. All right, I'm gonna take Dalton Schultz at tight end. He's priced at 4,200. He keeps getting a bunch of targets.
Got the goose egg.
He got two.
I think he had two catches.
He did. I saw him with 0 somewhere. I don't know where I saw him.
He got outscored by Hendershot last week, and then Ferguson the 2 weeks before that. So it's I mean, he's having a really weird season. I mean, obviously he was really overdrafted, but he is still out there all the time.
The Cowboys are really frustrating because they have an ultra thin target tree when you look at it from like the top 10,000 foot view, but then all these jamokes score touchdowns. Like on random weeks. You're like, oh great, it's such a concentrated target tree, and then they get in the red zone, and Kellen Moore's like, you know what? I got this play for Peyton Hendershot. Watch this shit. Light it up.
He's learning from Andy Reid. He's like, you got to get to the 5-yard line and then bring all your random dudes
like
in.
you bring it, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Reeves, you're next.
What kind of money we got? 5,000 a pop here? Is that what we got?
Yeah, we can throw in a defense too. What's the defense?
You can probably play. You can literally probably play any defense this weekend. Like you could play the Bears at dead minimum because you're just like, well, Josh Allen, his hands are going to be cold. Let's do the Panthers though. Let's do the Panthers against Goof.
All right, so that gives us 56.75 per spot.
All right. So is there anyone cheap else we can get in this game? Probably not.
I would say Quez Watkins was maybe a little bit playable, but now that Goddard's back, I think he'll be back to useless.
I mean, listen, man, Tariq Young, 3K.
I would say if we want to play a cheap wide receiver, we could correlate. We could play Richie James. Or we could correlate and we could play $4,500 KJ Osborne to do the bring back with Barkley.
We don't need to go too cheap though either, really.
Yeah, this is a play whoever you want spot, Reeves.
Yeah. It's just who's jumping out at me. Not a lot to love here.
It's like decent-ish options.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at DJ Moore.
I think he's a pretty solid option personally. Yeah,
let's do DJ Moore, Denniston Jr.
All right.
I'm
going with Gabe Davis. We'll take Reeves' own narrative here.
Okay, I'm in on that. I'm gonna take. So I get the sense that people got so burnt by Chalk Kamara last week that they're going to look at him in basically the same spot and not play him this week. And I'm all over Kamara this week at 6,800 against. I mean, Cleveland has a horrible run defense. Are the Saints drawing live at all for the playoffs? I guess they are because
everyone in the division is live.
Yeah. I got Kamara there. We got 6,100 we got 5,400 here at flex. We don't have a ton for you to choose from here, Reeves.
No, this is kind of rough.
We got 5,400 for flex.
Yeah, we got like Algier, Brian Robinson, TJ Hawkinson.
We can't even get we can't.
Drake London, who I really like.
Drake's decent.
He's probably the best dude, right? We can't play Brian Robinson. There's no way. Not Tyler Algier either.
No.
Although
Yeah, I
the
think it's Drake
million
won.
winner had Algier last week, didn't they?
Yeah, he just soul read that Caleb Huntley was going to get an Achilles injury in the middle of the game. All right, I'm good. I'm good with Drake London, and then we can come up. We can play we can correlate. We can play the Saints defense here. Deshaun Watson playing in negative 11 degree temperatures in the lowest total game since the beginning of these databases.
Don't you think that's probably worse
so
for not for the sake of this lineup, but in general playing defenses for fantasy, just because no one's gonna throw.
No one's gonna throw. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's gonna play these cold weather defenses, and then the Cowboys defense is gonna intercept Minshew 4 times and end up being the optimal is totally what's gonna happen. So we can enter that. I don't have the free roll pulled up. This is normally Peter's bit. You can enter this in the the Modelo free roll for freedom, free fighting.
Hold up, I'll have it. I have it. Ooh, wow. They're going big this is Thursday, never mind. They have a big 50K free roll tomorrow. That's the biggest I've seen. Oh no, they do have a 50K free roll for Sunday too. So there you go. NFL Holiday Free Contest Series.
There we go. They're feeling the Christmas cheer, which we would love to encourage. All right, running back. I mean, it is the best we got at running back right now is Kenny Walker on a very dinged up ankle as a 10-point road dog. You're just hoping, I guess, that he finds Pater twice. It's not great. I mean, Tuttle, are we just playing Derrick Henry? Like, are we just gonna are like? I didn't play him last week. I didn't play him the week before. Do I just have to let myself feel Dehember?
I mean, if you're playing Minshew at quarterback, you're probably playing Derrick Henry, or you're crying about it. I think like one of the best. Well, it's not best. The absolutely ugliest leverage play you could do on the slate is Malik Willis at quarterback. Hope he snags some goal line carries away. You're getting leverage off the Minshew salary at 4,800 versus 4,900. You're getting the Derrick Henry leverage, who's probably going to be about 30% owned. It's very unlikely to happen that Malik Willis pays off. But that would be my leverage take of the week. But in cash games and I mean it's Derrick Henry. Everybody's going to see what he did against Houston the first time around too. And it's it's Sosa's pick of the week here. Gift of the week is Derrick Henry.
Wow, throwing it back to Alabama, Derrick Henry. I mean,
there's no way his teeth looked that good when he was at Alabama though. So this must be like
that's the throwback though. That's the
this is a recent picture with the old jersey.
Yeah. I mean, Reeves, Malik Willis. What do we think? What do you think about Tuttle's terrible take of playing Malik Willis?
Well,
pure leverage take.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand the angle there because it's like you said, it's reciprocal. You're pulling on Minshew and you're pulling on Henry. Definitely tough to feel good about a guy that completed 11 passes in his 2 starts. Definitely really tough. And he didn't really run in either game either.
Yeah,
that was the bummer.
Disappointing part.
He did
that's
a
what you'd
little
have to
bit,
bank on.
Not like Justin Fields or Lamar.
Yeah,
or like like
this is what we don't care about though, and it's Kitchen's point. If you're playing Malik Willis, you're hoping he steals 2 touchdowns and he gets the 100-yard rushing bonus, and then that's it.
Yeah, you're hoping he gets 21 points,
for.
basically, rushing. Yeah. I last week again. I don't do sharp things very often, so I got to beat my chest when I do. Ramondre Stevenson at 3% last week was an absolute jam, but I don't think he'll actually end up.
Were you sweating at the beginning of that game? Tell me you were sweating because he did.
No, I mean I was only playing him.
Start him.
I was only playing him in tournaments, so you always are expecting to lose. I actually, after he scored that, what was it, like a 60-yard touchdown or whatever, I was in first of the big GPP, the afternoon one on DraftKings, and was holding it for a little bit until Brady threw that touchdown.
Well, I played him too, and I was sweating him early because then they tried to get him a goal line carry too, didn't score there. And it looked like they wanted to ease him back in and not actually play him. And then they
started getting their asses kicked as well.
Exactly. So they had to.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, real tough look for Mac Jones this year.
Terrible.
My goodness. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen a quarterback play last week. And then you cap it off with him just getting submerged into the earth.
I mean, at one point he was like 11 for 26 for 68 yards or something. Like it was really, really bad. I do like Ramondre again this week. Not going to fall victim to the David Montgomery stuff. I think he'll maybe get a little bit popular here. Just people expecting them to basically run a ton. I do like Dalvin Cook, but I mean, maybe for the first time as a 49er, McCaffrey's going to be chalk because he's not hard to get in. They've not used Tyrion Davis-Price at all. They barely used Jordan Mason. Tevin Coleman has been active but playing special teams only. I mean, Reeves, this is Shanahan, bro. He finally, he's found love. He's found his one true running back, and he's just going to give McCaffrey all the touches he needs.
That's what's been the story. I mean, the last 2 weeks, he's played every snap but one in the first half. Like Jordan Mason hasn't played until the games have been over, and he's trying to, salt away wins. And it's been kind of back to like old school McCaffrey. I think my favorite stat of the year ongoing is that the 49ers have only allowed one back to have over 100 yards against them this year. And he currently plays for them. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I mean, Tuttle, McCaffrey at 25%, or Saquon at 15%? Which one do you like more?
I'd probably just take the ownership discount. I think they're comparable enough. I think McCaffrey's obviously a great play.
But both of them will be less than Henry, though.
Yeah, I think Henry will be ultimate chalk. You kind of mentioned Kenneth Walker off the bat. I'm trying, I can't get a good read on what his ownership's going to be. Because I do think
he will be the classic. He'll be like Latavius Murray from last week, number 1 points per dollar option, but no one will play him because he's gross. People are gonna. I know better on him. Yeah. And I feel pretty good about it.
People will play the Lockett thing too. I don't think he'll be. I don't think Kenneth Walker will really get there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But he's got a good price tag. He wasn't limited in his role at all. I guess I didn't watch the game closely to know if he was. I mean, he hasn't been efficient, so it doesn't. I guess you wouldn't really be able to tell.
He wasn't. I was going to say he wasn't efficient before. It's like he's the home run style running back.
He ran a lot more pass routes because Homer had that fumble before halftime that basically lost the game for them. It didn't at that moment, but
5 targets for Walker, second highest of the season, other than the loss to Tampa Bay. So he feels like an absolute smash to me. Pollard, sort of interesting. Zeke does keep scoring all these touchdowns. I mean, does anyone want to go dumpster diving on Donta Foreman or Dare Ogunbowale or Royce Freeman? I mean, is this finally the DeAndre Swift week? Do we finally get a 28-pointer from DeAndre Swift? Probably not. The value.
You play him when he's not chalk though, so I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't expect a huge role change, but he did see 9 targets last week. I think it was. He starts converting on those. He gets some touchdown variance in his favor. There's not very many playable running backs under 6K this week. Like I think people will play Pacheco because of the spread again. That's going to happen. But other than Pacheco, I don't think they'll be very high owned RBs. I could see Foreman, I guess. Foreman's always a guy that I underrate or undervalue in terms of how the field's going to treat him. And he ends up being stone chalk.
What would have to happen for people to play Jerick McKinnon in DFS? How many weeks in a row of 30 fantasy points before people play him?
Oh, people are playing him, but like the projection based people aren't, obviously. So like the nerds, the opto bros aren't playing him.
Yeah, and then we got McCole Hardman coming back, right? Like the baton, like this McKinnon's like whole role kind of started to spike when Hardman got hurt. And like we all were like, oh,
all their wide receivers are so dusty.
Remember, we were like, oh, Tony's going to take over the role, and then we tried to wish cast Sky Moore into that spot. We're like, yeah, Sky Moore's going to do it. And then the Chiefs were like, no, we're just going to start throwing Jerick McKinnon. And so like with Hardman coming back, like it throws a new wrinkle because we've seen like the oscillation in the Chiefs offense, like whoever has the hot touchdown baton, right? Like it was CEH for like the first 5 weeks, then it was Hardman, now it's McKinnon. Like who gets it next, right? Like. I mean, so
Mahomes needs to throw for 981 more yards in 3 games to get the single season passing record, which guarantee him and Andy Reid wanted to get it. I would bet heavy that they have had a conversation about it and that both of them want to do it. But the other interesting thing is they're going to do it and only have one guy get 1,000 yards. I think Kelsey is the I guess Juju could get there. He's on pace to get there, but I mean that one could come down to like one reception the other way. But we got all these dudes. MVS 2 touchdowns, McKinnon 5 touchdowns, Hardman 4, Noah Gray has 1, Justin Watson has 2, CEH has 3, Fortson. I mean, just what a bizarre team.
That's why
I think
this is viable. It's viable.
I think
it is.
And this is why I think no, because the prices for the Chiefs guys still are giving you the chance that you could luck into Justin Watson 2 touchdowns, Sky 2 touchdowns, Tony 2 touchdowns, Hardman 2 touchdowns. Like,
you're not getting killed if those guys. So you could get a Kelsey 20-point game, you could get a Juju 20-point game and not be dead. So even if because Kelsey's so expensive,
right?
He's what, $8K on DK. I think he's like 86 on. He's almost the same price as an elite quarterback on FanDuel. He's 8,600 on FanDuel. So even if Kelsey gets you 20 points at that price point, that's probably not enough. So you can get Kelsey doing the heavy lifting, and you still would be fine.
He had 10 for 105 last week. I've never seen this before. Guy gets 10 for 105 and doesn't get the little flame on draft.
Yeah, it was a disappointment.
I mean, I'm trying to see if there's anyone. This is going to be the guy that when Levitan tweets about their ownership projections on Monday morning, he's gonna be like, we missed on Miles Sanders because all the non-nerds, all the toilet shitter lineup constructors are going to click Miles Sanders because, I mean, they'll need someone to replace the touchdowns. But then also Nick Sirianni did like this whole big soliloquy about how they need to get Miles Sanders the ball more after he barely played last week. Miles Sanders is going to be the chalk of the week.
Yes, because I do think the GPP bros will do the whole leverage angle on it too, right? They'll say Minshew is going to be 15-20%, yep. And then they're going to talk themselves into playing Sanders, who will then also be 20% owned.
Like how Pacheco ended up being, Pacheco was 30% last week, like insane. Yeah.
For a dude of that archetype, we talked about it on Friday morning. It was,
I mean, he's got 4 catches all year or something, like absolutely insane.
I mean, anytime you're going to willingly jump a guy that probably catches one pass at 30% ownership, you gotta cut, man. You gotta cut out of there.
I don't know if I've ever seen this before, but right now, Justin Jefferson at wide receiver is projected 5 points better than every other wide receiver eligible player. I mean, he is going to get so jammed against the Giants, which, I mean, and deservingly so. I could totally see, you basically, if you don't have Justin Jefferson, you're dead this week.
If we run into good weather, though, man, or better weather, there are some receivers in some fantastic spots this week. They're just all outdoors. That's why Jefferson's going to get just pumped up.
Yep.
Can we get not even can we get 3 degrees with not a ton of wind? I mean, that would be, but you're right. I mean, it is setting up for if just one of these Diggs,
DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams, all have amazing spots this week. It's just, they all come with some ancillary weather stuff.
I think Metcalf is my favorite. I think you do Mahomes. Maybe you just do Mahomes and Metcalf and you play the best plays around there. I don't know. I probably can't play Mahomes naked, but I do grant Tuttles. I'd probably play him with Hardman, I think is what I do.
So that's the issue. I think Hardman has the role now. When he returns, I think he'll return to the role. But that was what I was interested when we never really got to talk about what the receiver room's going to look like when everyone's healthy. But now that they're all healthy, I think they're still just going to run MVS out there on every play. So it'll be Juju
100%.
MVS.
Yeah,
they'll
big
rotate
exercise,
Hardman in.
Watson will lose some snaps. Sky will basically go back to not playing, and Kadarius Toney will get his 6 snaps a game.
Yeah. The guys that they're starting, then you can't play MVS really. So the guy you would hopefully have some or potentially have some appeal is Hardman at 3,800, but he's not a volume guy, so you're just hoping he binks one.
It's not even one, probably 2. Yeah. Probably 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Terry McLaurin, the 4th highest projected wide receiver of the slate against the San Francisco 49ers. Got to say, not particularly interested in that. I am interested in Dotson, though, Reeves.
I mean, listen, Washington's going to finally have to throw. I mean, this is the one thing that's because like McLaurin has like all these elite like peripheral stats since Heineke's taken over, but they've thrown the ball fewer than 30 times in 5 of his 8 starts, and I think 1 of his past 6. But in the games where Washington's had to throw it over 30 times, and McLaurin has games of 573-1, 6 for 113, 8 for 105 and a touchdown. It's a CeeDee Lamb went through this like the beginning of the year, like where CeeDee Lamb had all these just amazing metrics. And you're like, well, cool. Dallas is throwing 25 times. Like, who gives a shit about his target per out and target share? Like, we need some actual volume, and it's still can been a problem on a weekly basis with Dak. That's why his target numbers are off. But that's what's really kind of just thwarted McLaurin over the stretch because he's getting elite usage. And the 49ers, as good as a defense they are, they give up production to opposing wide receiver ones. I mean, they're also giving up production to downfield targets. So there is opportunity there if you get the pass volume. We have to figure Washington's not going to run the ball right here, like at all. They'll probably try.
Chance. They'll try.
They'll try, yeah, for sure. And so if you get like Purdy playing as good as he has to open the game, at least it's going to force the issue and force some targets. But Washington's just been so slow and they've been so run heavy. It's made it really hard for like even a guy like McLaurin has all these amazing metrics to say like, yeah, he's going to get there. So maybe this is the week we get some value.
Yes. Yeah, I think you are correct. I don't know who else is interesting. I mean, the Giants guys.
Yeah, you're going to see Dan. That's what I was going to say.
James.
I think you'll see Daniel Jones kind of get steamed a little bit because of those guys. I mean, you can play them separately, obviously, but Richie James is showing as one of the top point per dollar options at 3,900. Hodgins is 41. Slayton's 52. So I think you'll see his Giants stack that game. Oh, we get the Daniel
Giants
Jones
and Jefferson.
Kid. Yep, I think that'll be a fairly common approach.
What's interesting about that matchup is it's very similar to last week's with the Colts. Like when Matt Ryan was getting steam coming into Saturday as a streamer thing, but it's like the things that the Vikings are worst at were all the things that the Colts were worst at in offense. They couldn't take advantage of it, and the Giants are the same boat. Like it's all vertical passing is what absolutely smokes the Vikings, and we have another offense that's just a ludicrously poor vertical passing offense.
So is Slayton the guy that you would take shots on then?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about just like the weakness, of the defense, he would be the guy. But I mean, we're in kind of a very similar spot as the Colts spot last week.
Yeah.
But Jones runs. That's the thing. And if you look at Jones's spike weeks for fantasy, they're all correlated with his rushing games. Like it's 100%. Like there's no give or take. The weeks he runs, he scores points, and when he doesn't run, he scores nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Which I mean, I don't know. I like Ayuk a little bit here against the Commanders. He seems like a ceiling guy. I wonder. I mean, are the Bengals like? Are they going to be able to pass it all, or is that just going to be like Mixon, Piran? I guess I don't know. I off the top of my head, I don't know the forecast for that one. I assume from the total of the game that it's not
10
great.
to 15 mile per hour wind.
I mean, that doesn't seem as bad as some of these other ones.
It's not as bad as some of these other. Exactly. Comparatively.
We're excited for it.
I mean, if T. Higgins and Chase can combine for 38 DraftKings points and Burrow gets to 22, I don't know. I mean, it's just so annoying. Like, why do I have to be a fucking meteorologist to play fantasy football?
I know you guys have seen the dudes, the hard dudes on Twitter too, that like fight for these teams continuing to play outside.
Oh, it's nothing worse, man. Nothing worse.
But I don't even understand like how it's like enjoyable as a consumer, right? Like,
yep.
I don't know. Like we do it for selfish reasons. We want like the optimal settings, but like if you have like a setting like for good football, like don't you want them to be like in a situation where it's going to like maximize the game and not take anything away from it?
Their argument is like purity, right?
I guess. I mean, it looked cool at the end of that Dolphins game. Like the snow looked cool.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it's like so. Also, it's like one of those things too, where it's like, you like it from your couch. Like you're not going to these games.
Yeah.
Like how many people are going to go to Saints Browns in negative 10-ish weather. Like if I set the line at 1,000 people there, you think you got the over?
I've even been outside in 3 days. I don't know, like, why am I really not going to watch a
That's
football
my
game.
life too.
Not going outside to watch a football game for 4 hours, and
Yeah, no, it's absolutely horrible. All right, let's build a FanDuel team. I mean, Gardner Minshew, maybe he's still pretty cheap there. Maybe they'll get a cold weather multiplier. See, that's the future. Is any game where the temperature's below 10, you actually get a 1.2x multiplier fantasy points. It'll level the field up. I mean, just like from the surface here, there are Kenneth Walker at 6.9K. I'm just looking at FanDuel salaries for the first time, as you can tell.
Yeah, he's cheaper than Jerick McKinnon on FanDuel.
Yeah, I will be. Spoiler alert! If you're in a contest with me this weekend, I can guarantee Kenneth Walker will be on my team. We could do the Mahomes team here. I'll let you go first on this one, Tuttle.
I'll take the easy layup. I'll take the Kenneth Walker layup. I'm fine with that.
Boom, easy peasy. All right, Reeves, you can go next.
Let's see. So we're doing Kenneth Walker. It's tough on FanDuel. It's really tough to find a chief. Just like you said, you can't play Kelsey at 8,600. Fantastic.
No, you really
matchup.
can't.
But I mean, you just can't. You can't get there. Like you need 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You need at least 25.
And you need 10 catches to get there. Yeah, that's just absolutely brutal. All right, so I was gonna say DK, but we went there. Let's do. You want to do McLaurin on this one? He's 7K on FanDuel.
I will never say no to Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, except for August.
Well, buddy, I learned my lesson. All right, I'm gonna take Mahomes on this team, and I will leave it up to the room if we're gonna stack him or if we're gonna follow the chat's idea of playing him naked.
So I think the naked is even more so on FanDuel than DK. DK, I can see trying to sneak in Mecole and things like that. But with this Kelsey pricing at 86, I think naked's the way to go.
And even because on FanDuel too, like catching a touchdown from one of those guys, if you stack them, probably doesn't get you there in any of the guys. Where on DraftKings,
right?
Exactly, it's a huge deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked about it. The take in general was that potentially the Giants. No, I'm not going to go there. Well, I'm just going to go Saquon again. Whatever. Lame, easy pick.
Tuttle, this is lame. Even
I was gonna give the speech on. I was gonna go with Reeves' take. If they get beat, it's gonna be downfield Slayton. But I think Slayton's a significantly better play on DraftKings because I think Richie James and Hodgins will actually have ownership on DraftKings, where it's not going to be quite as high owned on FanDuel. So I like Slayton a lot on DK, but FanDuel it's whatever.
Yeah. All right. You go. Wait, is that my turn? I just got confused.
Yeah, you picked.
No, Reeves' turn.
Mahomes.
Okay, yeah, Reeves, your turn.
All right, I'll save us some salary. Let's do Noah Fant. Let's get this onslaught cooking.
Okay. All right. So now we definitely gotta bring someone in. All right. Let me get Fant. So do we want Smith-Schuster at 7.3, or do we want Hardman? Was he even?
He's
like
Hardman even priced? 5 or 56, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do Hardman.
All right. And then
this actually so far this is a drawing live. We have not killed this team yet.
Yeah,
normally
not yet.
Normally by this time when we get to a FanDuel team, someone has selected someone at like 10,500, and we're playing like Denzel Mims to get underneath the cap.
When you build DraftKings lineups and you go over to FanDuel, it like totally does. It just warps your brain. Like it is way different because you can't punt receiver like you can on DraftKings.
No, you're drawing so dead.
All right, does anybody have a strong take? I know it's my pick, but I can't say I have.
Hardman is playing more than 10 snaps. He was activated off the IR last week. And if they were playing someone other than the Texans, he would have been in.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll return to his earlier role that we saw earlier in the season. I'll actually go Kamara here.
Oh, okay. Sure. That's fine.
I was just scrolling through pricing. I think he stands out. Hopefully people are scared to play him.
I mean, it's not about fright. It's about tilt. People are going to be so mad about him screwing them over last week. What defense do we have in there? The Falcons?
We haven't picked one.
Sure, whatever. I think our last wide receiver
is Ayuk. Then we can fit Ayuk for the run back.
We solved it.
There you go.
Solved it, mate. There
Easy
we go.
Game. Easy game.
All right. Yeah, this is and putting together a non-dead team. You do actually love to see it. All right, yeah. I mean, tight ends. What do you do? Hawkinson is my call. Hawkinson is going to have 80 yards and a touchdown here against the Giants.
It's got to happen eventually, right? He continues to get the targets.
Well, he's also leverage on Daniel Bellinger in the same game, who is 3,300, played like every snap since coming back from that eye dislocation.
People love playing Daniel Bellinger.
People love playing Daniel Bellinger.
Davis Mattek loves playing Daniel.
No, that is not true.
Yes, it is. You have an obsession with Tanner Hudson and Daniel Bellinger.
What about Lawrence Cager on the Thanksgiving Day slate? It's just that whoever starts a tight end for the Giants plays every snap. I mean, it doesn't matter. They could be bringing out Reeves' 17-year-old son, who's a Giants fan, at tight end, and they'd be like, "All right, dude, you gotta play 97% of the snaps." Wow, producer Sosa just killing it with the graphics today. We love to see it. I mean,
this is the Bellinger week, though.
It does feel like Fant is probably going to be the guy who ends up most overowned relative to his projection.
Yeah, probably.
Not great, but what can you do? I don't know. Does anyone got other? I mean, I just have very few tight end takes because it seems like a really bad position, even relative to normal. I don't know. Who is the guy who's going to end up getting steamed? Is it just Bellinger? Is Chig actually a leverage play this week? Is Chig Okonkwo actually a leverage play because everyone's going to forget about him? And obviously Malik Willis is going to throw like 6 passes, but maybe
Burks will probably play too.
Yeah, he's listed as probable on a Wednesday, so I guess he probably will.
I need somebody to tell me to stop playing Mark Andrews with Huntley at QB.
Never surrender, dude. Never surrender. I mean, we just got it. Well, maybe this will do it for you. He's not had better than 6 catches, a touchdown, or 65 yards since week 6.
It's been tough scenes out there.
I mean, like
that whole offense, man, has just been so bad.
I keep thinking Huntley has it in him to like get me 20 DK points, and it's just it doesn't seem to be happening.
Well, he did have that one game last year.
Yeah, and that's the one that I keep remembering. Andrews had 2 touchdowns, 135 yards in that game.
And remember,
everyone brought up when Jackson got hurt. Everyone was like brought up the Huntley splits last year immediately. We're like, yeah, it's been rough. Since week 7, 22 catches, 247 yards, no touchdowns for Andrews. Like, seems like on like a guy that can't even have a line like that.
Right. That's wild.
Especially with no wide receiver still. They're still trying out Demarcus Robinson as the wide receiver 1.
Oh man. And Robinson too is like his projection looks even better this week because Duvernay's out. Toughest of scenes. I don't know. I
actually kind of like Andrews now that we're walking through it. Like maybe it's just tight end, and anytime you just see a warm body, you're like, ooh. Like yeah. But yeah, Falcons was a good matchup. Like, man, they have to be able to throw on the Falcons, right?
You would think so.
It's like, I mean, literally, who knows? You know, they might decide it's too cold and it's J.K. Dobbins season. Maybe Dobbins is a play. We haven't said no. We haven't mentioned his name at all. But I was encouraged by him leading the running backs and snaps back-to-back weeks after how bad. I know he had the 100-yard game when he came back, but he looked horrible. Like it looked like he couldn't even get up to full speed. So maybe it's maybe it's Dobbins season. I don't know. I don't think I can talk myself into that one.
It's tough because he keeps openly saying he's not there yet. Like anytime you hear the player, because you never really hear players like talk like that. He's like, no, I'm not even. He's like, I'm not there yet. And I'm like, oh man, if he's telling me he's not all right, like I can't play him, right? And then it's like 100-yard game. It's like, damn it, I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not what you want, but I guess. I mean,
tight end is terrible. Oh my god, the main.
That is foul. That looks so bad. I guess I probably am not. I guess I'm probably not.
I didn't.
What
see
is
this.
that?
I heard it. That's J.K. Dobbins.
That's J.K. Dobbins' surgically repaired knee, bro. Okay. Hear me out. Will Dissly as leverage on the Noah Fant shot. He's cheaper. I think he's got more touchdowns on the year, and he has played. He plays about 50% of the snaps.
Yeah,
he has three. He does block a lot. He did have 3 touchdowns the first month of the season. I don't know. That's all I got.
I mean, it's just rough out there, man. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
They're all bad plays. What do you want to say?
They are.
Last week I was on FanDuel. I was like, on principle, I was like, I'm only gonna play Darren Waller because he's 5,100. I was like, who cares about the rest?
I wanted to play it. He ended up not being very owned, right?
No, he was like
it was later news.
Yeah, it was like he was like 10-15%. But I was just like on FanDuel because who cares, right? Like I was like 5,100. I'm just taking this price and playing him. It didn't matter because I had so much Miles Sanders. So
Miles Sanders. Who could trust Nick Sirianni? All right, Tuttle. It's been building. Give us a terrible take.
It's Derek Young. That's the terrible take.
No.
It is.
I'm making you do a better terrible take than this.
No, that's it. I mean, I have plenty of other terrible takes. Like it finally is a Bellinger week. It's finally a Gabe Davis week. Malik Willis leverage off the Minshew price point and Henry ownership. But it's Derek Young. He's scoring a touchdown, man.
Shit. All right. I can't. I guess if that's
you're telling me he can't beat out Penny Hart for snaps. Come on.
I mean, I'm just like it's probably like they haven't thrown to a third wide receiver all year, and Godwin's just going to be the second one.
No, Goodwin's not like my take here, and this is why it's terrible. Goodwin's going to be what Goodwin has been. Is my take. He's not going to earn extra targets. DK Metcalf is going to earn those targets, and then the overflow is going to go to my man Derek. I can't even pronounce the kid's name, but yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess I'm gonna give it to you. Reeves, give us your big takeaways. Where are we at, man?
You want a terrible take?
A terrible take. A fine take. Give me something to take away as I'm making my teams on Saturday morning.
Let's do. DJ Moore has the most receiving yards of his career.
What's the number off the top of your head?
It's got to be like 160, right? Something like that.
Okay. So there you go. We got the Derek Young and DJ Moore.
Deniston.
Yeah, Deniston Jr. Let's see. What is his actual
157.
157. Oh yeah. So I was at 160 as I was thinking was going to get us there. All right.
Against 157 against Detroit in 2018.
It's all coming back full circle.
He had 152 against. Yeah, there you go. Same team. Yeah,
look at his 4 highest receiving yards games. 2 of them came against the Lions.
We literally plugged ourselves into the matrix. We sat here long enough. We got Soccer Dave was not here to distract us, and we got as deep into the matrix as we could possibly get, and we solved the team versus player context, and we're gonna solve it with DJ Moore. Everyone, follow Reeves on Twitter. Read his content over at Sharp Football. Listen to the shows, do the thing, and Reeves and I will be back tomorrow. Well, I'll see him in about 14 hours here. We'll be podcasting tomorrow. Tuttle. I hope that Will Dissly outscores Derek Young so that my terrible take can out terrible yours. And guys, we'll be back next week with another surprise guest, and maybe Soccer Dave will do his job and figure out the internet situation so that he can actually host the program later.
Do you think it's on purpose?
No, he literally is just irresponsible, bro.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. And the most annoying thing is that I know he's got to work from home, so I don't understand how he can have choppy, shitty internet while working from home.
What do you think he does when he works from home? Is the question.
It's just
his internet's obviously not tested enough.
Well, here's the thing. His kids are old enough to be in school all day, right? So like working from home for him might be like the vacation. Like he just gets to sit and be in his quiet house for a little while, I don't know. And he didn't even go to Dairy Queen. He didn't even go to Dairy Queen to stop.
He didn't even give us the attempt.
So he really didn't care today. Tough scenes. All right, everyone. We're getting out of here. Good luck. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Run good this next week.